Hello there, lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV main news. Today, the 20th of February in the year 2025, we sincerely apologize to you, our dear esteemed viewers, for bringing the news late. This was due to a church program that we're airing live. However, here are the news headlines. Stakeholders condemn executive's exit from Pali amid critical motion. Government's suspension of 15% tax a disservice to the country EFF. BRAIL features on the new banknotes unsustainable ZAFORD. In international news this evening, UN warns of growing risk of regional war as M23 rebels advance in eastern Congo. And in sports this evening, Copper Queens intensify prep amid international friendly. Do join us for these and many more stories after this break. To present Camnet TV main news in detail, I'm Tapelo Joe Smata. The Radiation Protection Authority, RPA, has signed a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with the National Anti-Terrorism Center, NATC, aimed at enhancing nuclear security in Zambia. This collaboration will ensure the safe handling, protection, and security of radioactive materials. Now, RPA Executive Director Dr. Bosta Siwila emphasized that the MOU represents a significant step in preventing unauthorized access, sabotage, or malicious use of radioactive materials. Dr. Siwila underscored the importance of safeguarding the public, workers, and the environment from radiation hazards. Meanwhile, NATC Director General Joseph Kavuma stated that the agreement will enhance efforts in preventing, detecting, and responding to potential threats involving radioactive and nuclear materials. He highlighted that the collaboration will focus on information sharing, intelligence exchange, and joint capability programs to bolster national preparedness against emerging security risks.
In an effort to strengthen nuclear security in Zambia, the Radiation Protection Authority has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the National Anti-Terrorism Center. RPA Executive Director Dr. Bosta Siwila says the MOU marks a crucial step in safeguarding Zambia against unauthorized access. He says the collaboration will establish a national coordination mechanism for security activities, physical protection evaluations of facilities housing high-activity radioactive sources, and training programs.
National Authority and National Terrorism Center through this Memorandum of Understanding. The increasing global concerns regarding nuclear security and the potential risks associated with radioactive materials make this partnership both timely and necessary. As the RPA, our mandate is to protect the public, workers, and the environment from hazards arising from the use of ionizing radiation, and this aligns with the National Terrorism Center's mission to prevent, detect, and mitigate threats to internal security, including those involving radioactive and nuclear materials. This collaboration will ensure the secure transportation, physical protection, and emergency preparedness for high-activity radioactive sources and nuclear materials housed in critical institutions such as Cancer Disease Hospital, National Scientific and Industrial Research, and our storage facility on the Copper Belt. Ladies and
National Anti-Terrorism Center Director General Joseph Kavuma emphasized that the MOU will strengthen efforts to prevent and responding to potential threats associated with radioactive nuclear materials.
The MOU represents a significant step in strengthening our national efforts in prevention, detection, response to, and investigation of potential threats associated with illicit acquisition and misuse of radiological and nuclear materials. The MOU we are signing today represents more than just a document, as it signifies a shared vision and collective commitment to uphold the high standard of safety and security, which will enhance our capacities in monitoring, responding to incidents, and ensuring that our policies reflect international best practices in the field. Ladies and gentlemen, our partnership focuses on 1. Enhanced information sharing and intelligence exchange involving the safety and security of radiological and nuclear materials. 2. Joint capacity building programs that signifies our national preparedness and response to radiological and nuclear security incidents.
With the combined expertise of Radiation Protection Authority and the National Anti-Terrorism Center, Zambia is better equipped to prevent and respond to nuclear security threats. I am Miriam Kansenga for Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Economic Freedom Fighters EFF President CONDEMN has criticized government's decision to suspend export duty on precious stones and metals, describing it as a disservice to the Zambian people. Mr. Mwenda argued that the move will further entrench foreign control over Zambia's natural resources, depriving the country of much-needed revenue. He linked the decision to past tax concessions foreign copper mining companies, which he believes have disproportionately benefited external investors at the expense of Zambians. He further lamented that the timing of the suspension, noting that it comes amid a deepening economic crisis characterized by a weakening currency, rising inflation, and an escalating cost of living. Mr. Mwenda has since called for an immediate reversal of the decision, emphasizing the need for policies that prioritize national interests over foreign corporate gains. The criticism follows an announcement by Minister of Finance, Dr. Stumbekom Sokotwane, regarding the suspension of the 15% export duty on precious stones and metals, effectively reducing it to zero.
Economic freedom fighters, we are very concerned and saddened by this development where we have heard that government has just U-turned and removed 15% duty on emerald and precious stones. This is very unfortunate because the duty that was there, that was all the Zambians were getting. Because right now as Zambia, we don't have a lot of our Zambians actively participating in the emerald business, and there we have a lot of money which is being made. So for us as a government to forego even 15%, that would have been used to generate money to be used in hospitals, for our education, for our free education. This is money now we are giving away for us to opt instead to go and start borrowing money from the IMF that our children will come and pay, because these emeralds that are going now, that we are allowing now to be taken for free, this was an opportunity for us as a country to develop and make money. It's very wrong. Actually, as economic freedom fighters, we are reporting this matter to SEC under the circumstance under which it has changed, because we know Gemfield were pressuring government, and it's on record that government should remove duty so that they can export these minerals for free. And what do we see?
The Action Institute for Policy Analysis Center has urged President Hakainde Hichilema to reshuffle cabinet in response to a recent walkout by ministers in Parliament. Center Executive Director Solomon Ngoma stated that the minister's decision to walk out reflects a lack of competency in addressing national issues and responding to public concerns. He emphasized that the incident underscores the need for a more accountable and responsive cabinet. Meanwhile, the advocates for democratic governance have strongly condemned the United Party for National Development (UPND) ministers for abandoning the parliamentary session, particularly when a motion on the high cost of living and ongoing load shedding was set for discussion. Executive Director Gideon Musonda stressed that ministers have a duty to provide comprehensive statements on pressing national matters. Details in the following report.
In a surprising turn of events, UPND members of parliament and cabinet ministers yesterday walked out of parliament when a motion on the cost of living was about to be filed by Lunte member of parliament Mutotwe Kafwaya. When Mr. Kafwaya stood up to issue his remarks, the ministers and MPs began to stand one by one, shunning the august house.
Many people have been complaining about many things, and as a matter of fact, the big issue that people have been complaining about is the cost of living. Order. I also take note of the interest the UPND members have in the cost of living, as has been exemplified by their leaving the house.
This development has since attracted widespread condemnation from various stakeholders across the country, with the Action Institute for Policy Analysis Center, AIPAC, calling upon Republican President Hakainde Hichilema to reshuffle cabinet. AIPAC Executive Director Solomon Ngoma described the behavior as a sign of incompetence, as ministers seemingly do not have answers to the concerns the public is raising.
We urge the President to take decisive action to address the issue at hand and consider cabinet reshuffles. A new team of ministers who are committed to serving the people in line with the President's vision. Furthermore, we are concerned that this behavior may be a sign of deeper problem within the ruling party. It raises questions about their commitment to democratic principles and their ability to work with others to find solutions affecting Zambians. As a nation, we deserve better, and it is time for our leaders to take responsibility for their actions. We demand more from our leaders. It is time for them to step up and provide the leadership that Zambia needs.
Meanwhile, the Advocates for Democratic Governance Foundation, ADEG, has condemned the act, stating that the ministers are indebted with the responsibility to provide the public answers to the concerns they raise, especially on the cost of living.
That walking out, that led to the disruption of business, where the adjournment was made, without exhausting, issues on that motion that came from, the opposition. I think it was not done in good faith, and as I did, we want to condemn, that act. Yeah. It was going to be very important for people, to follow the issues on the effect of, the high cost of living, but also it was going to be important if we had to get the answers, from government.
And Zambia, we want Deputy Secretary General Ruth Chikasa equally denounced the act.
It's such a shameful thing for ministers and MPs to walk out of parliament when a serious motion is on the floor. The people in this country are not interested in what is happening all around. What they are interested in is who's going to bring solutions to the cost of living in this country. What is going to happen to those on medication after the USID has, left this country? We shouldn't be playing around with people's lives. Parliament is not a place for Ichiwanse. Parliament is a place for serious business of this country. Now to see ministers walk out singing to our win, what is that? That is really, really shameful.
Chanda Mwango for Camnet News in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, Minister of Information and Media Cornelius Mwetwa has downplayed the motion raised in Parliament by Lunte Member of Parliament Mutotwe Kafwaya, describing it as an attempt to air grievances against the government rather than a substantive national matter. Yesterday, Mr. Kafwaya raised the motion in Parliament to discuss the high cost of living in the country, but saw ministers and members of parliament shun the august house. Speaking at a media briefing today, Mr. Mwetwa clarified that the motion was a private member motion, which by procedure does not require a response from the executive. He emphasized that such motions serve as a platform for MPs to express their views but do not mandate government intervention. The chief government spokesperson further stated that it was not the executive that shunned Parliament, but rather a mix of UPND MPs, independent MPs, and members of Patriotic Front PF who chose to be absent. He also noted that Mr. Kafuaya failed to consult his fellow MPs before submitting the motion, a move may have contributed to the lack of support for his proposal.
Out at Parliament yesterday, the nation is well aware that yesterday during Parliament, after ordinary and traditional business of the House was transacted, Member of Parliament for Lunte, Honorable Dr. Kafuaya, introduced on the floor of the House a motion or statement to which he wanted him and other members to deliberate upon. Let me make a few points clear on this particular issue. That, number one, the motion that was introduced by Honorable Kafuaya was and is a private member's motion that can only be introduced on Wednesday, as it was. Now, the nation should be aware that there are ordinarily three forms of motions that can be brought to Parliament. One, it is a motion where a chairperson of a committee, for instance, is bringing to the House to report. For instance, you are doing ratification of Director General of Anti-Corruption Commission. A chairperson of that particular select committee will bring a motion to the floor of the House, or indeed the Budget Committee, after scrutinizing submissions of stakeholders, will go to the House to introduce a motion to which members will have to deliberate upon.
Minister of Water Development and Sanitation Collins Nzovu has commended the United States efforts in constructing various water infrastructure projects across 13 districts in northern, western, southern, and Luapula provinces. The minister also commended the United States government and the American people through USAID for supporting the construction of sanitation facilities in schools and rural health centers. Mr. Nzovu says the investment has positively impacted thousands of lives by improving health, enhancing livelihoods, and fostering economic growth through reliable access to clean and safe water and adequate sanitation services. He added that access to clean and safe water is a critical role in Zambia's socio-economic development, as it is a key driver of sustainable development and poverty alleviation in the country. He further noted that these efforts align with Zambia's Vision 2030, which aspires to achieve universal access to clean and safe water as well as adequate sanitation services. The minister was speaking during a courtesy call paid on him by United States of America Ambassador Michael Gonzalez.
USAID support extends beyond individual communities to large-scale projects. We recognize and commend the U.S. efforts in constructing various water infrastructure projects across 13 districts in northern, Western, Southern and Bakula provinces. This investment has positively impacted thousands of lives by improving health, enhancing livelihoods, and fostering economic growth through reliable access to clean and safe water and adequate sanitation services. Excellency, water supply and sanitation remains a top priority for our government's developmental agenda. As added goes water is life and plays a critical role in Zambia's socio-economic development. Therefore, access to water is a fundamental human right and a key driver of sustainable development and poverty alleviation.
Our teams have been working together for many years, including in several of the activities that you cited, whether it's borehole support in Northern Province to support for the non-revenue water issue that you just mentioned.
The Men's Network for Gender and Development has expressed concern over the declining number of men undergoing circumcision, emphasizing the need to increase awareness about its health benefits for both men and their families. Organization's national coordinator, Nelson Banda, stressed that male circumcision plays a crucial role in promoting overall health and reducing the risk of certain infections. He highlighted that women also have a vital role to play in encouraging their partners to undergo the procedure, as it offers significant benefits not only to men but to their families as well. Mr. Banda pointed out that some infections, including cervical cancer, can be linked to human papilloma virus (HPV) transmission from men to women. Mr. Banda has since urged men to take advantage of available circumcision services, emphasizing that prioritizing their health is essential for their own well-being and that of their families.
We're appealing to men, we're trying to encourage men to develop positive health-seeking behaviors, and one of them is actually men going for male circumcision, because it is to their own benefit. Not only that, but it will benefit their partners. Okay, so one of the areas in which we want men to take an active role is to have women to encourage their men to go for male circumcision, because that will be of help to the men and to the women, including their families, because they'll be having healthy families. You see, some of the infections that we have around cervical cancer, you know, they are triggered by men. So if more men go for male circumcision, we are going to have reduction in cervical cancer amongst the women. So what we are now doing, in fact, during the Global Health Week for Men, which is about June, we'll be talking about how men can, begin to talk to each other about the importance of men developing health-seeking behaviors, such as male circumcision, talking about diabetes, high blood pressure and things like that, so that both can live a healthy lifestyle. So men should not fear go for male circumcision services. Okay, it is to their own benefit. I know there are a lot of cultural barriers that men have learned about male circumcision, which can be unlearned. Okay, so men should be active to take care of their own health, including what we're talking about.
From the capital city, Lusaka, we now go to Mungu, Western Province, where the Municipal Council has expressed displeasure over the vandalism of Malengwa Police Post, further calling on the community to take responsibility for protecting public infrastructure. Assistant Public Relations Manager Abigail Sitenge condemned the incident, revealing that thieves broke into the facility and stole doors along with other essential items. She urged residents to guard the police post, emphasizing that its presence is crucial in curbing crime and ensuring the safety of the community. Meanwhile, Community Representative Simata Mulongwe has called on fellow residents to refrain from damaging government property, stressing that such actions only hinder development and security efforts. He further urged the government to expedite the opening of the police post, citing the high crime rates in the area and the urgent need for the law enforcement services.
With a number of concerns raised by some Malengwa residents to construct a police post in the area in order to curb notorious junkies attacking people, Mungu Municipal Council has completed the rehabilitation of the police post, which was started in the MMD reign in 2008. And the thieves have taken advantage of the delay in opening the police post and broke into the facility, went away with some doors. Speaking to Camnet reporter, Mungu Municipal Council Assistant Public Relations Manager Abigail Stenge is appealing to residents not to vandalize the structure as it will be a setback.
We are saddened as Mungu Municipal Council about the vandalism and theft that occurred at Malengwa Police Post recently. Malengwa Police Post is being constructed using the CDF, that is the Constituency Development Fund. And so it was funded under 2023 allocation for completion because it's an old project. It started way back in the MMD government. So recently we had a break-in at Malengwa Police Post by unknown individuals that stole 2 hard doors worth about 4,000 kwacha. It is indeed a drawback on our part as Mungu Municipal Council. It's a serious drawback because the project is actually nearing completion. I would say that construction works are completed, and what is remaining really is only the furniture part. And so we are appealing to Mungu residents to desist from vandalism. They are the same people that have been crying for a police post in that area because there hasn't been a police post for a long time.
And one of the Malengwa residents, Mata Mlongo, expressed displeasure towards some behavior exhibited by notorious people who have vandalized the police post.
So for the long time, we didn't have a police in Malengwa here, but now the council has built this structure. So let us keep it. And we are urging so that the government, they can continue to build more structures. Because for now, junkies, there are more. Someone, you go to the market to buy tomato, but they come to attack you.
Meanwhile, former wildlife police officer Kenneth Namate is appealing to the traditional leadership to take control of their children.
Polisi ya Malengwa yani kuangalia na zaidi nzimate tusikae kujana na wao mwana babona nokubera kufita bakeza kwino usalama fingerprint twene kukamulonga mwana mapokora koma ningo officer wa state police region bali babati siseta bayo kufuma neli fuzile kuli bali befavuka.
Musio Kabira, Camnet News in Mungu District, Western Province.
From Mungu back to Lusaka, the capital city, where we take a look at political news, in which the United Party for National Development, UPND, has appointed 5 candidates to fill in key positions in Eastern Provincial Committee, which was previously dismantled due to internal disunity. UPND Secretary General Batuke Imenda announced the new appointments during a press conference, stating that the previous committee was dissolved following divisions stemming from intra-party elections at district, constituency and ward levels. The newly appointed members include Peter Piri as provincial chairman, Alex Piri as chairman of administration, Lucky Matango as provincial treasurer, Liaison Nyarenda as provincial youth chairman, and Helen Piri as head of the women's wing. Mr. Imenda has since urged the newly appointed leaders to uphold party unity and strengthen the province's political structures, emphasizing that they have been called to serve as at a critical time for the party.
Clearly stipulates that for a full committee we need 44 members, but today we are only going to read 5, meaning will be left with 39 members to be announced later. Basically, I would love to start by stating that our new provincial chairman is Mr. Peter Piri, who will be the provincial chairman. Coincidentally, Mr. Peter Piri happens to be the provincial minister in Eastern Province. The Alex Piri, who was a provincial treasurer, is elevated to a position of vice chairman administration. His number 2 deputy treasurer, Lucky Matongo, is elevated to position of full provincial.
The Zambia Federation of Disability Organizations, ZAFORD, has called on the Bank of Zambia, BOZ, to increase the prominence of accessibility features on the new family of banknotes, citing concerns from visually impaired individuals who struggle to identify their value. ZAFORD Director Justin Bakali emphasized that disability-friendly features are essential as people with visual impairments rely on touch to distinguish different denominations. He stressed the need for more pronounced tactical markings to ensure financial inclusivity. Mr. Bakali, however, commended the central bank for its responsiveness in incorporating disability features on the new banknotes, recognizing the effort as a step toward greater accessibility in Zambia's financial system. Council of Churches in Zambia, CCZ, General Secretary Reverend Emmanuel Chikoya, has urged the public to embrace their cultural identity by ensuring that they preserve cultural practices that align with their culture. In an interview with Camnet News, Reverend Chikoya expressed concern over the public's adoption of some behaviors perceived as civilization which are discrediting the country's cultural heritage. He highlighted the need for the country to adhere to cultural norms and values as a guide to their everyday life.
Any society, for it to thrive, succeed, must hold on to its values. And I think for me, this word is civilization, and it is used sometimes. Some of the things that have happened in the name of civilization are not actually civilized. You know, some of these behaviors, that are going on in the world today are not really civilized. If you look at the African context, for example, we never had developmental challenges before the so-called modernity, because there were systems, there were taboos and mechanisms that honored creation. There was no way, we had no poachers, because communally people go and hunt and the whole village feeds. Vegetation, trees were protected. And then we are educated today. We are, in inverted commas, we are told we are more civilized today, and there's been rampant destruction.
And that particular story takes us to our first set of commercials, but do join us for international and sports news when we come back. Do stay tuned.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palabana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodland, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Welcome back, and now in international news. United Nations officials in Africa have warned that the ongoing offense by Rwandan-backed M23 rebels in mineral-rich eastern Congo poses a significant threat to regional stability. The escalating conflict was a key focus of an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council on Wednesday, where officials urged immediate action to prevent a broader war. The rapid seizure of major cities in eastern Congo by the M23 rebel group, along with escalating tensions among key parties, has heightened concerns over the possibility of a regional conflict. The situation remains highly volatile, with the rebels gaining ground and advancing further into Congolese territory. Here's a roundup of international news.
Kenya announced on Wednesday its willingness to assist in peace initiatives in Sudan following accusations from Khartoum that Nairobi had infringed on its sovereignty by hosting a meeting for Sudan's parliamentary group, the Rapid Support Force, RSF. The way Sudan is today, it is very ugly for whoever is looking in from the outside. No society can be formed or exist like this. But from today, from this gathering here, moving forward, we want to have a fundamental solution. Haida Abdul Karim, a Sudanese peace activist and journalist, urged regional governments to remain neutral amidst politicians' attempt to legitimize the RSF's new government, potentially causing further divisions within Sudan. The real danger in what happened yesterday is that a large number of politicians are trying to give some legitimacy to the Rapid Support Force to form a new government in the region, and this can create a split and new divisions for Sudan. Kenya's lecturer Kisemi Mutisia warns of potential international isolation due to its perceived support for a rebel faction opposed to the legitimate regime in Khartoum.
The regime in Khartoum is legitimate. Whether it enjoys popular support and the like is a different question. So any attempt to weaken it or to interfere with it in a diplomatic way or in the manner Kenya is doing would open legal loopholes for Sudan to take the case to International Court of Justice.
Sudan criticized Kenya's decisions to host the meeting on Tuesday, labeling it an act of hostility.
Before the Security Council, Congo's Foreign Affairs Minister accused Rwanda of carrying out massacres in areas occupied by the M23 rebels. Therese Kaikwamba Wagner's government has lost control of 2 provincial capitals to the rebels in 3 weeks. Congo wants the Security Council to order the immediate withdrawal of Rwandan forces. Rwanda is preparing a massacre in the plain light of day with a brutality which recalls the darkest hours of our history. I issued that warning on the 26th of January. Today, these words have become a reality. In only 48 hours, more than 4,000 people died in Goma. Women and men were slaughtered. Children witnessed summary executions. People were killed indiscriminately and executed with spine-chilling precision. The UN's Special Envoy for the Great Lakes region warned that urgent action was needed to avert a wider regional war. Rwanda's representative said his country was being scapegoated for Congo's internal failures.
The responsible parties are well known who exploit DRC. Rwanda holds no mining concession in the DRC, yet we continue to be falsely accused. The claim that mineral resources fuel this conflict is false and inciting. The M23 issue is about people fighting for their rights and survival, fighting for their inherent citizenship rights and access to their own ancestral property. Rwanda cannot be scapegoated for the DRC's economic dysfunction.
The rebels on Tuesday took an area where the borders of Congo, Rwanda and Burundi intersect, causing further panic.
Relief for residents of Goma as they queue to take the ferry across Lake Kivu to Bukavu in the south. Boat traffic between the two cities in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo resumed on Tuesday after days of suspension due to fighting between the army and M23 rebels. This passenger's been struggling to join his family after the death of his brother. I knew it wasn't safe to travel by road, and I didn't know how to get to Bukavu. So when I heard that shipping was allowed on Lake Kivu, I was so happy to be able to travel to Bukavu to join my family in mourning. M23 rebels captured Goma last month before marching into Bukavu this weekend in an unprecedented advance since they took up arms more than a decade ago. The fighting has deepened the ongoing humanitarian crisis in the region. With our children at home, we didn't know how to feed them. We didn't have anything to eat because we didn't know how to work to survive. But now I thank God that the boats have started working again, and I feel happy. With roads in much of eastern DRC in poor condition, the small boats and ferries that crisscross Lake Kivu have long served as the main means of transportation for people and cargo in the region. Everyone is happy. You can see for yourself that today we have loads compared to yesterday. We just left with at least 50 tons of cargo compared to yesterday, and I know that people will also be happy when the boat docks in Bukavu. Fighting, however, continues in the region.
And finally, in sports news this evening, the Copper Queens are intensifying preparations for the upcoming international friendlies against Malawi Scorchers, set to take place on February 22nd and 25th at Ray's Arena in Lusaka. The team is focusing on fitness and recovery as they gear up for the matches. As part of their preparation, the squad conducted a light mobility session at Pamozi Hotel in Lusaka, aimed at enhancing flexibility, preventing injuries, and fostering team bonding before resuming full tactical training. With solid preparation underway, the Copper Queens are determined to deliver strong performances in these back-to-back encounters, using the friendlies to build momentum for future international competitions. We can only wish the Copper Queens all the best as they take on Malawi. Now, that sporting item brings us to the end of this edition of Main News on Camnet TV. But before we go, a recap of stories that made headline. Stakeholders condemn executive's exit from Pali amid critical motion. Government suspension of 15% tax a disservice to the country, says EFF. BRAIL features on new banknotes unsustainable, says ZAFORD. Our international headline this evening was UN warns of growing risk of regional war as M23 rebels advance in eastern Congo. In sports, Copper Queens intensify preparations ahead of international friendly. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of Proverbs chapter 9 and verse 10. It reads, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding." That ends the reading and that ends the main news. Now, dear viewer, like always, do remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel. Now, on behalf of the entire production team, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. Good evening and God bless.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.